Today on Cobra Kai, I will be reviewing the first episode. I will be reviewing each season of Cobra Kai leading up to the season 3 premiere. I know it's leading to the full episodes of season 3. I know I should have done this later because season 3 comes out Friday, but I have decided to review the first 2 seasons of Cobra Kai. We will be reviewing Ace Degenerate. Okay, so this Cobra Kai Season 1, Episode 1 starts off with a flashback to the All Valley tournament where Daniel beat Johnny and kicked him in the face with the crane kick. And then we see a present day Johnny who's down on his luck, drunk, who he even and he can go into his job. He even says hi to one of the ladies. He's like, hey, and she's like creep. Like who does that? So he goes to the lady and he puts up her TV, but she's like, what? No, I asked you to put it on the other side next to the door. But he's like, I did, but she's like, the other door. And I'm like, lady, you told him to put it on the door. But if you want it on the other door, you could have said which door you want him on. And he says, stop being Aaron. Stop. What did he say? Stop bitching or being at her, and she's like, and she's like, what did you say to me? And he's like, I did not call her a B. She was being at me, and then and he's like, fire me. I didn't want to work with her anyway. So Johnny just lost his job, and then he hears a commercial on his radio for Daniel Russo and the Russo R Group. But then he meets Miguel Diaz and a new neighbor, and he's like, kid, I've lived here for a long time. The place is bad. Everything's bad, and just leave me alone. So he's like, okay. So and then Johnny's eating a pizza. Yeah. Johnny's eating a pizza, and when the homeless lady says, I don't want a homeless guy on my mind. He's like, I'm not a homeless guy. So then but before that he went to a place where he saw Miguel buying some Pepto-Bismol for his grandma, and then he ordered pizza, as I said, as he was eating the pizza, and he's like, then some guys said, one of the guys says, hey, Miguel's like, I didn't know you guys were, you said we weren't in college, and you said we weren't in college, and I didn't know you guys were trying to, like, rob, like, be bad guys or anything. And then he starts, like, he's like, diarrhea, and he's like, hey, Rhea, and he's like, that's for my grandma, and then he pours it on his head, and then Johnny's like, hey, and then Johnny's boom, and that hurts. So Johnny starts beating them up, and then, because, they're bullying a kid. So and then this guy with hair like this starts, like, coming at him, but then Johnny gets pepper sprayed. So Mr. Miyagi can save Daniel. Actually, I'm not hanging on Mr. Miyagi. My boy Miyagi, R.I.P. to Pepper. But Mr. Miyagi can save Daniel from them and not get arrested. But when Johnny does it, he gets pepper sprayed and gets arrested. So he goes to a place where he meets this girl, where he's like, "What are you doing in my place?" When we learn that his stepfather Sid, his stepdad Sid's the one that bailed him out of jail again, and he's like, "Hey, go home, Sid." He's like, "I'm not leaving until I get my money." And yeah. And he's like, "How about your kid, Robbie? Is he 15, 16?" And yeah. And he's like, so he tells one of the ladies to mind her business, and he's like, "Yeah, when your mom was around, she was like 10 and all that stuff, but I didn't know." And we started dating, but I didn't know years later I'd be watching her kids. So, yeah. So they leave, but then Johnny he goes to this play. He goes to this place where he flashes back about how John Creed from Karate Kid Part 2 almost choked him out after losing second place to Daniel. And then these girls, they bump into his car, and he's like, "Hey," and he like scares them. And we learn that one of the girls is named Yasmin. So, yeah. So yeah, and then Daniel has to go. Then Johnny has to go to the places he was trying to avoid. LaRusso Auto Group, run by Daniel, because he's not want to see Daniel. He kind of blames Daniel for the whole Karate Kid thing and ruining his childhood. And from his point of view, Daniel was the villain. So yeah. So yeah. So yeah. So Daniel's like, "Hey, it's Johnny, Louie, the other guy. You know, it's probably Louis' son. You know, Louis Senior was Daniel's grandfather that Daniel's mom was looking after in Karate Kid Part 3, and also was mentioned in Karate Kid Part 1 when Daniel left from New Jersey to California. I was in California, and yeah. So this is probably his son, and he's like, "Hey, isn't this the guy that you crane kicked in the face in the first Karate?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Johnny, that's." Oh, and he's like, "Yeah," and then so yeah, and then Daniel, Johnny, I can't be like, "No, I'll just do it." But he's like, "Johnny, it's good that Cobra Kai is not back. Who needs Cobra Kai?" And then he's like, "Oh yeah, Johnny, I forgot. Here's a bonsai tree." And then Johnny just drops the bonsai tree, and he goes to him again. And he's like, "Will you be my karate teacher?" "No, I'll be your sensei." And then we see him giving people give him some money to reopen Cobra Kai, and then he puts on his bandana and he says the first rule, and he puts up the first rules like first strike hard, no mercy. He puts on his bandana, and that's how the episode ends. Ace Degenerate was the first episode of Cobra Kai Season 1, and it was the best episode of Cobra Kai Season 1, because it introduced Johnny, Daniel, Miguel, Sam, even though I didn't, yeah, Sam, Johnny saw Daniel's daughter, and he realized she was the one that crashed his car, and that's why he needed to go there to get his car fixed, and yeah. So, I will see you on my next review for Cobra Kai Season 1, Episode 2, Strike First. So, see you, and I hope you like this series, because this will be leading up to when I definitely watch Cobra Kai Season 3, and I do my review. So it's like a lead up to when I watch all of Season 3. So thank you, and remember to be in meditation, be awesome, and you always meditate, you meditate and you strike for Miyagi and Cobra Kai. Thank you. Thank you, guys.